Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Rock stars, before I get started, I'm just letting you guys know I have my retainer in because my top teeth have been shifting. I haven't been wearing my retainer like I was supposed to, so I had to get some new ones, and that's why I'm going to sound like I have a list for, I'm going to say some words strange, okay? First story up, baby knees, you guys. I was so shocked and saddened to hear that she had passed. So baby knees, mama named her Khadijah Lewis. She was a girlfriend that we were introduced to Young Jock on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, I think in season 3. I was like trying to remember back when she first came in, and I had Googled, and I was looking at my old videos, but you guys have so many videos that it was hard for me to remember like what. So I Googled, and they said that we met her in season 4, but I really think that we met her in season 3. Maybe she became a regular person on the show season 4, but season 3 I believe is when we met her, and that was when, if you guys remember, Carly Red and Young Jock were supposedly a couple, and then they decided they were going to move in together, and they went to go look at this house. Remember that classic episode? They go look at the house, and Young Jock introduces Khadijah to Carly, and then he leaves the room, and then Khadijah, surprise, lets Carly know that she's been sleeping with Jock for a long time, right? And then they get into that fight. You guys remember how much we enjoyed that whole episode? Remember how much we laughed about that fight? Remember how much, even still today, when I see that scene, I laugh to myself. It's just like, that was like old classic Love and Hip Hop. We grew to love baby knees. I called her baby knees, always fondly so, because she had pudgy knees. She had knees that looked like a baby. So that's how I became, that's how she became baby knees. And I've never really known her name, because once I give somebody a name, child, that's their name in my head, child. So and we had a good time with baby knees and Young Jock and everything. So I was really saddened to hear that. I know that when we first met her and when she was on the show, one of the running jokes was the fact that she had like all these jobs, that she was a real estate person, but she did this and that and the other, and and I remember we used to joke about that. I don't know exactly what has happened with Khadijah since she left the show. But apparently she had fallen on some sort of hard time. I'm not sure what it is, but you guys know I listen to Young Jock in the mornings when I'm going to work, and this morning I specifically wanted to hear what he had to say about it, and he said that he had spoken with the family some time ago, and that he knew that Khadijah was going through some things. That's the way that he worded it, that she was going through some things, and that they were just wanting, I guess, prayers from him, or whatever, and that they just wanted, prayers for her. And then I guess times never turned around for her, and maybe things got worse, and now she has passed. When Young Jock was saying that he didn't want to get too much into what happened, that he just wanted to say, he just said some nice things about her or whatever. But I was under the impression that maybe something bad had happened. I had seen the picture of her, and she was considerably less, she was not as thick as she had been. She wasn't overweight, but she was a thick girl. And so the pictures, I did notice, even though it wasn't like a full body shot, but even her face looked a lot smaller. And so I don't know if it was health issues. It could have been some addiction issues. I don't know. I don't want to put anything out there if they haven't said, but something tells me that it wasn't good. It wasn't a good situation. I mean, it's never a good situation when you die, but maybe I'll say maybe something tells me that it wasn't natural. Yeah, real sad. But, you know, he was talking about her being in a dark place. And, you know, when people feel like that, you know, maybe it's good to reach out to people and try to get some help and things like that. So that's what led me to believe that something bad was going on. You know, something sad was going on. But I'm telling you, I was like, that really made me sad this morning, you guys. Like, gosh, she was young. I mean, she's younger than me. She's probably in her 40s. And, very sad. I did not get, I'm gonna put on the screen if she was married and had kids. Something tells me that she wasn't, because all of the articles that I read, they didn't mention any of those things. But yeah, rest in peace to Kadia Lewis, you guys, baby knees. I just really can't believe that. I mean, it's so sad, you guys, so sad. Next story. All right, you guys, next story, FAMU, you guys. FAMU is in quite a bit of turmoil right now over the newest president that they are trying to place. She's already been approved. They're saying that FAMU has needed a president for some years now. Apparently there's somebody that was working there that was acting, but they actually need a person that is going to be there permanently. So in comes Marva Johnson. Marva Johnson is a lobbyist with deep ties to Ron DeSantis and the Republican Party. They say that when her name came up, apparently there were like 50 plus people that, you know, were on this list. Next thing they knew, Marva Johnson had been shortlisted. Like, they had just brought her in and put her up like towards the top of the list. And, you know, nobody even knew why she was on the list. She has sat on a board for a school before, but she really doesn't have any education experience. Not enough to run historically black college or university, you know. So, but she's a black woman. They placed her there. I guess they thought that we were going to be okay with this, you know. She's black, but not all skin folk are kinfolk, and we know that. So Marva is there. She demanded a $750,000 salary. FAMU was like, we can't pay that. Okay, but we can give you $650. Now, originally they were trying to pay $550. The school, they're saying, really can't even afford a $550,000 salary, and they wanted to give her around $450,000 salary. So the school has even said that they will pay this woman $650,000 a year, and you know, for all intents and purposes, the school can't even afford it. So people are saying that this is, you know, the Republicans trying to stage a coup. Either they are trying to make sure that they have somebody that they can control the HBCU, or they are setting the school up for failure, and they're putting this woman in there to come in there and basically fuck everything up, you know, on purpose, so that the school will fail. So people don't trust it, obviously, and are really trying to figure out why this woman is even coming. Now, the woman is coming. The woman is coming. She's already been confirmed. She's already been, well, I don't know if they've confirmed it, but they said that this is the person that's going to be doing the job. So, I mean, I guess that's confirmation, right? But yeah, it sounds like it's a school. It does sound like it's a backhanded way of trying to actually just get rid of the school. They think we stupid and that we don't realize it. But no, we see that some shit is going on here and it ain't right. Folks don't like it. But again, there's so many things that's happening with YSAP's administration, so many places that he has his hand in, that, you know, it's just sort of like every time you turn around, he's involved in something else somewhere else. Like, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the weatherman in a minute. And it was just sort of like, we didn't even know the president was even involved in any of that shit to begin with. Okay? We didn't even realize that these programs still, like, the president has his hand in it, you know? So, child, this man, everywhere you look, he is affecting and wreaking havoc. They are trying to change this country. They are definitely trying to change it. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not these things stick. If stuff happens so much so that by the time he's done, you know, it continues on, or people are willing to go back to the way it was. Like, I don't even know if half of this shit can be changed back up. But it is a mess. HBCU, having a Republican running running FAMU. Not even so bad that it's a Republican, okay? Because we have black Republicans that might be good people, okay? But MAGA, that's what we should be saying. This is a MAGA involved decision here. And, you know, anytime we hear MAGA, we know YSAP. And when we hear YSAP, we just know it's going to be fucked up some kind of way, child. So that's what's happening over there at FAMU. All of my FAMU folks, those that attended the school, you guys weigh in. Let us know what they're doing, what they're saying. Put all that in the comments below, and let's move on to the next story. Okay, so I was talking about the meteorologist, right? So there was a meteorologist, I believe in... was it Louisiana? Might have been Tennessee. It doesn't even matter. But he was on his segment, on his weather segment, he actually explained to the people, he wanted to take the time to explain to everybody that because there's been so many federal cuts to the National Weather Service, that they're so understaffed that they have not been able to accurately predict the weather, and that it's only going to get worse. That's the reason why they've had issues tracking these hurricanes and these different storms and knowing exactly what the category should be, or what the, you know, what the strength is, or the direction, or whatever, because they just don't have the man, power any longer. And so he's saying that it's a trickle down effect. So the fact that they can't make the predictions on the weather, then that also might have some reasons why these planes is falling out the damn sky every time you turn around. You know, we haven't been having as many problems with the big planes, even though we've had more problems with these big planes in these last year or so, even as well, you know. But these small planes for sure have been catching hell all over the country. And that is because ain't nobody at the damn National Weather Service to tell the damn people at the FAA, because ain't nobody at the FAA to tell them, like, hey, this is happening here. And that's the reason why air traffic control is having all these issues, and the weather, and people falling, and bad turbulence, and all this is because nobody is able to do anything because they don't have the staff. They've laid everybody off. And that's the same for a lot of different departments. So many things trickle down to another department, and the next thing you know, it's just chaos everywhere. I feel like it's chaos everywhere. The thing is, YSAP, and they don't seem to care, because that stuff doesn't affect them. Like, when you're really, really rich, you can afford to do whatever you want to do. You don't have to really go by the rules. I mean, of course, you can't go out there just breaking the laws, killing folks, and doing all that. But I mean, you almost can. You can do pretty much. The more money you have, the more you get away with. Okay. Look at how long Puffy got away with the shit that he did. You know, the shit catches up with you, and I know that too. But you know, YSAP already at the last quarter of his life anyway. You know, so it's like, child. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's the reason why this weather, the planes, and all that. The man told us. Is because ain't nobody manning the ship. Shit is just everybody just out there willy-nilly doing whatever the hell they want to do. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, there was a Chinese couple that was caught at the Detroit airport. Shout out to Jay Lee. They were trying to smuggle in a fungus that they say was going to devastate the crops here in the United States. Had that fungus made it to the crops, it would kill all the crops. Okay, and not only kill the crops, but if the people get a hold of the crops that was, you know, affected, then it was going to cause all these health problems, liver damage, and all of this. Okay, it was a pathogen that they created over there in China to come over here and do some sort of like agro terrorism plot. Okay, it was foiled. By the time these people, I'm gonna fuck the names up real bad, y'all, because they're Chinese. Okay, so let's spell it. YUNQING. King. JIAN. Hyun. Yan. 33 years old. And ZUNYONG. Zunyong LIU. Lu. Zunyong Lu and Yongking Yan. Jean is 33, Lou is 34. It was a man and a woman, and they were charged with conspiracy, smuggling goods, false statements, and visa fraud. Okay, that's what the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of Michigan announced on Tuesday. So the plan was, the man tried to smuggle this pathogen to the girlfriend who actually worked at the University of Michigan. Okay, she worked in the lab there. And so he was bringing the pathogen over there. They were saying that they were going to study it in the lab there, but, you know, authorities believe that they were going to maybe grow it and then, you know, put it out into the crops and kill all the damn agriculture. So the fungus is called Fusarium graminearum, okay? And it causes a disease in wheat, barley, maize, and rice that can wipe out crops and lead to vomiting and liver damage if it gets into the food, okay? Now, you know, wheat, barley, maize, and rice, like all of that, that's something that is very used very commonly. So, you know, I eat rice every single day. I eat some form of rice every single day. You know, some people eat pasta every day. I eat some form of rice every day. I'd have got it at some point, you know. So thanks to the authorities for catching the people. They say that the woman was a member of the Chinese Communist Party. And you know, the school hurried up and let the authorities know that they ain't had nothing to do with it. Okay, they ain't knew nothing about it. They ain't studying this pathogen, this fungus, you know, and they had no idea that this is what the girl was working on in the lab or anything like that. Okay, so the University of Michigan is trying to distance themselves from the story, and they said they're working with the authorities. All right, but yeah, plot was foiled. But, you know, that is scary, that the fact that YSAP is cutting all of these different departments and everything. Like, there could have been a situation where that wasn't caught. You know, when you don't have the staff, then things slip through the cracks. And they could have very easily, not very easily, but they could have somehow managed to get that damn, you know, they could have got it through that airport, and then it would have been a disaster. So yeah, I hope this story like kind of opens the eyes of, you know, YSAP and his damn stupid junk drawer, and let them know that people was working for a reason. People wasn't just making them salaries and having jobs for nothing, you know. So anyway, that's that on that, y'all. Let's move on to the next story. All right, Diddy update. You guys, I haven't really watched too much of the Diddy story this week. Last week was so much and so overwhelming. And plus work has been really busy as well. So I haven't, I need to get some glasses that don't have the reflection. I was too cheap and I didn't buy the anti-reflection, anti-glare, but now I'm realizing when I look in the, you know, when I look, all I see is the damn cars and the across the way. That gets on my nerves, you guys. So anyway, but yeah, I haven't really been watching the Diddy thing. I watched a little bit today, and I saw that, what can you say? Puffy is just crazy. He's crazy. And yes, he was using the people that work for him at Bad Boy to carry out all these dastardly deeds. And that is the reason why they're saying that this was an enterprise. You used your business for this old ghetto ass, jealous love drama that was going on between you and Cassie. Your whole life then fell apart because of this girl, you know. And even though he's done it to more people around Cassie, what I'm saying is a lot of it surrounds Cassie, like it's Cassie's friends and who Cassie was seeing. And, you know, these people was trying to make sure he didn't do this to Cassie, or he didn't find out about what Cassie was doing. It was Cassie. The man was obsessed, okay? Today I heard about this, you know, him dangling. I was like, this nigga really thought he was like, what the fuck? You just dangling people off of the damn... Today I found out he had dangled another girl off of the top of a building, 7 stories up, because she said she don't even know. She said to this day she don't even know why, but she was a friend of Cassie's, and Cassie obviously was doing something over there and had pissed him off, and he was like ready to kill her too about it, and hit her, dangled her over the side, threw her off, and then pulled her back and threw her over to the side, and she got these big ass bruises, and they said she had a hole in her leg, and just like all the shit. And that woman has a $10 million lawsuit on Puffy, who she was actually being represented by the Blackburn guy. She was going to be represented by the Blackburn guy. She ended up dropping him because y'all know that they don't really like the Tyrone Blackburn, the one that represented Lil Rod, right? He was also representing this particular witness, but now he's not. She's suing somebody. She is being represented by somebody else. But she has her own lawsuit that she filed last year on Puffy as well. $10 million for dangling her over the side of the building. I guess she decided to do it, after her and Cassie, they're still friends, so I guess maybe they talked and, was figuring that, Cassie was doing what she was doing, and then this girl filed her lawsuit too. And I was just like, this nigga is crazy. How you just dangling people over? This Negro really thought that he was a mob boss. He was acting like, who does these kind of... It's always funny to me that I thought, let me just put it on me, that I thought that Puffy was out there, a little, doing whatever, but I ain't knew this nigga was out there just cutting the food like this. Cutting the food. It is a surprise that he lasted this long doing all this shit. That Puffy was evil. Oh, not was, is. Because I feel like a nigga don't change. Now when you get to be my age, baby, this is what it is. Okay? You can try to fine tune some things. It might be some shit you need to work on, but for the most part, you are what you are at this age. And I'm just like, that nigga, I would be scared of him if I saw him today. Ooh, I'm so glad Young Miami, I was about to call her Lil Miami. I'm so glad Young Miami made it out. Because, honey, she probably it was going to be bad time. Anyway, y'all, let me move on from that. But, yeah, it's just still more of the same stuff. Puffy was crazy. It was a whole bunch of people that saw it, that was involved. And it just is amazing to me that he was able to keep this story under wraps for so long. I think it's because of the money. Not I think, I know. It's because he was able to pay these people and pay them off and pay them off and pay them off and pay them off. But listen, the prosecution has granted all these people immunity. Y'all come on in here, tell the story, because we about to take this nigga down. He going down, y'all. Puffy going to jail for something. Oh, my Rockstar lawyers, I wanted to ask you. So, because they're charging him on racketeering and all of that, I know that you can't have double jeopardy. So, if he's found not guilty for that, and he walks on that charge, can the prosecution now go back and say, well, let's charge them with domestic violence because they already admitted to all of that? Like, can they use that? Or is that still considered like, no, we can't really use that information no more? So I need my Rockstar, my real Rockstar lawyers to let me know on that. And we gonna move on to the next story. Child, somebody check on Offset. Child, I'm so tickled with this story because, these niggas got the most gall, child. They got the most gall. So, y'all know that Cardi B is seeing Stephon Diggs. I don't know if they officially said, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, but the way that it looks, these two are definitely claiming each other right now. They've been very public and everybody has seen it, and them smiling and all this. Well, apparently Cardi posted a picture or a video. So I still haven't seen the picture or the video, whatever it is. But Wave, which is the second baby, the only boy that Cardi and Offset have together. As a matter of fact, what is that little baby? What is the youngest one's name? We still don't even know that baby's name, I don't think. People probably forget about her. I forget all about the youngest. But anyway, Cardi, he has long hair, so she braids his hair. So in Stephon Diggs, I'm sorry, I keep on biting my tongue with this back of this recliner, back of this thing. But anyway, lost my train of thought. Cardi and they were okay. So Stephon Diggs also wears his hair braided, so we thought it would be cute, you know, on a Sunday to braid their hair alike. And I mean, harmless really, but of course, when we talk about appearances and we look at a picture and we see a man having his hair braided like a child that is not his, however, it is his girlfriend's child, and the father of said child is well, I don't feel like Offset is crazy, but I do think that Offset really has his nerve. Like, Offset, really, you done did the things. We didn't have women talk about, you know, you taking the girls all in your house with Cardi, you know, and describing things, and, you know, supposedly as soon as she leave, then he bringing another woman in there and all of this. And you mad because she done braided her son's hair like the boyfriends? Cardi had been complaining that he hadn't even seen the kids. Okay, maybe if he was around a little bit more, maybe he'd be able to have a little bit more say on the baby's hair. Maybe if those two weren't fighting back and forth so much, you know, Cardi would respect the wishes of her baby's father and not do that. But nigga, if you out here just acting the way that you acting and doing the things that you doing, but you expect me to still honor the wishes of what you want, I'm sorry, no. There's no consideration for somebody that does never consider me. So I am going to braid in this boy's hair like this man, and we gonna go to damn Golden Corral and get us a meal and come on back home. Okay, and your other kids gonna be with us too. Offset said that, yes, all shits and giggles until somebody get hurt. Like, he was like, yeah, when the nigga come up missing, that's when you guys can say that it was a crash out. Okay, he said anytime somebody played with my kid, you know, it's gonna always be a problem. Don't be playing with me and involving my kid. And yes, Cardi probably could have not involved the kid, but the kid's not really involved like that. Okay, the kid is, you know, he's still okay. But so yeah, maybe Cardi could have not used it, but you know what? I still was just like, oh, the fuck well. I thought the shit was funny. I'm sorry, but you know, that's Stephon and Cardi, that video they showed of her, you know, she dancing and like doing her booty in his face and doing all of that and looking back. I said, boy, I bet you that video killed Offset, because we've seen Offset and Cardi in that exact same position a few times, you know, when they would go out and all of that. And now here she is doing it with somebody else in public. I know he probably was sick. Yeah, that was quite the entertainment there. I just when I heard about it, I just laughed to myself. I was just like, oh well. And then somebody was like, Offset, that picture is old as hell. Okay, you definitely ain't seen your kids like Cardi said. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think about that. I guess we'll end this one here. All right. All right, Roxstars, that's it. We do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.